Good evening, everybody. I want to call this meeting of the Community Redevelopment Agency regular meeting, January 14th, 2025 to order. City Manager, do we have a quorum, or sorry, City Attorney, quorum? Yes, perfect. Can you all take a moment of silence for the invocation, please? Thank you, and will you stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of minutes.
Move it.
Second.
Sorry. City Clerk.
Individuals wishing to speak on agenda items must complete a sign-up card prior to the item being introduced. Sign-up cards are available on the table. Individuals wishing to speak on non-agenda items may do so under petitions and requests. No sign-up card is required. Citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak on all agenda items. All sign-up cards and exhibits being submitted to the CRA shall be placed in the box on the table.
Thank you, City Clerk. Now can I have approval of the minutes?
Move it.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Executive Director?
Yeah, good evening, CRA Chair, Vice Chair. We are on item 8A, which is advisability for safety cameras for the Welcome Center. The safety cameras located at the Welcome Center are outdated. They were installed in 2016 and 17 and can be only accessed locally and do not provide the level of security consistent with other city facilities. Currently, the cameras do not provide enough visibility for police needs. Staff recommends installing new cameras with the ability for the police department to access them. Staff is requesting the approval for advice and bring back options to the Community Redevelopment Agency for direction.
Member Nelson?
I would agree if those, although I hate the idea of thinking that Sarah and I in 2016, now we're, yeah. But other than that, it is almost 10 years old. And I think probably the technology has really improved, so I think we probably ought to do it.
Is that a motion?
Well, we have to ask for cards first.
Yeah.
Then,
I was just waiting for anybody else to weigh in. Any other thoughts on council? Sorry, on the board. Any cards on this issue, City Clerk?
No cards.
Alrighty. Can I have a motion?
move to approve advisability for staff to research camera types and location, working with the IT department and code enforcement.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Executive Director.
On to item 8B, which is electric vehicle charging station at the Welcome Center. In 2018, electric vehicle charging stations were installed at the Welcome Center. The charging stations no longer works. The Public Works Department cannot obtain the replacement parts as they are now obsolete. Staff is requesting direction regarding the charging stations. The three options we would like for you to consider is remove the charging stations, replace the charging stations, or replace the charging stations with a charge for utilization of a metering system.
City
Okay.
Clerk, is there any cards on this issue?
There's no cards.
Thank you. Member Nelson?
Okay, two of us up here have charging, a need for charging, but when we did it originally, the thought was people would go downtown, they'd charge, they'd go have lunch, they'd shop. At that time, we had a hot point downtown, and it would sort of be a draw. At that time, I really expected to pay for the charging downtown. And I think it's only fair that we do pay for the charging downtown. I know that when I bought my car, they said that a full charge, which is close to 350 miles, if I used a level 1 charger, cost me $3.50. The ones we had downtown, a full charge would have cost $7.50. I think it's appropriate that people pay for it. I don't have a problem paying for it. And to be honest with you, I'd rather pay for it than fill up a gas tank. And it's a lot cheaper. So I would vote that we go out and look at the options. We got ChargePoint as one of the options.
There's several companies that now offer solutions as well
Yeah.
as FPL. So if you would like to move forward with a metering system, we can certainly put it out for bid and
Yeah.
see what we come back with and bring it back to CRA for your consideration.
Okay, so
Well.
You want me to make the motion?
No, you undid it, so now you're at the back of the line.
Oh.
Member Stokel.
Yeah, I had just similar thoughts. I remember when we originally put them in, and that was the intent. So I would be in favor of either removing them or looking to just keep it there for people to be able to pay. But I would not want the city to be out any of the funds.
Yeah, if in fact we go to put a metering system on, we'll have to replace them with whatever solution the company will provide.
Do we know the estimated cost
Don't.
of that?
Don't know.
Okay, that, I will be quite frank, like, that's one of my things. I just really don't want to be using taxpayer funds to give out free charges. But I like the intent of having something in our downtown for residents.
Member Ball.
I was just wondering what the utilization was. Have they been pretty well used up to the time they stopped working?
I would frequently visit the downtown during the weekends, and what I observed, and this is just my personal observation, were there was some people from the neighborhood that were utilizing the chargers regularly, especially on the weekends. In the evenings, the same thing. It was more residential people that were using them versus folks that are, that were visiting the downtown.
And they're universal? I mean, multi-vehicle?
I don't know much about charging stations. We'll put out a bid that will be appropriate.
Well, I agree with the comments that if we're going to have them, going to replace them,
Yeah.
we should charge a fee, and they should be sufficient. I noticed that they haven't been there very long, so I don't know if, the technology is advancing so fast, they're going to need to be replaced, but the O&M and those kind of things ought to be factored into the fee, I would think.
Member Cole.
My question is, if we opted to go with a third party, would we have to bear the expense of the installation, or will they install it for us?
I don't know. That would be part of the bid and proposal process.
Okay.
Member Aker.
Yeah, that would be important to me, that we're not bearing, if someone breaks it and stuff, that we're not constantly bearing the cost of the repair of it. So if the quotes include someone else taking over the maintenance of it, I'd be for that.
Member Nelson.
Okay, I have some answers, not a whole lot, but some answers. Basically, because we looked at it for the condos, and like ChargePoint was included the maintenance, they installed it, and then they charged. And part of that money you were being charged went for maintenance installation. So we wouldn't be out money, but whoever's using it would be paying for it.
Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve looking at options for charging stations that are metered.
Second?
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say an aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Executive Director?
On to item 8C, which is Train Like an Astronaut program. This team effort between Community Redevelopment Agency, staff, and code enforcement. The purpose of the project is to create a positive activity generator, encouraging legitimate users of our parks and other locations within the CRA. This path promotes health and wellness and also celebrates Titusville's vibrant role in the space industry. The proposal is a 1-mile pedestrian course starting at the American Space Museum and ending at Spaceview Park. 5 permanent signs will be needed to indicate the course every quarter mile. The cost of the weather and UV resistant 12 by 18-inch signs is $47.50 each. The signs will be installed by Public Works Department. And staff is recommending that the CRA approve funding not to exceed $300 to install signage for the Trails Like an Astronaut Program initiative.
City Clerk, any cards on this item?
No cards.
Thank you. Members? Member Stokel?
Yes. Are we the ones sponsoring this event, or who's sponsoring this?
We're not sponsoring event. This is, and it's confusing because of the two items on your agenda. This is not an event. This is something that would be permanent. So
Okay.
the CRA is paying for the signs. And this
Okay.
is something, it makes me sort of think of, remember when you were talking about Venice Beach?
Yes, that's why that's
Right.
what I was alluding to
Right.
here. Okay, so are we partnering with an organization or
Code enforcement.
code enforcement?
Code
Okay.
enforcement. This was a brainchild of Megan from Code Enforcement, brought this
Okay,
forward.
that's what I
to the
wanted to know.
CRA.
Okay, thank you. As noted, I'm very, very happy to see us getting creative and trying some new things in our downtown area. So really am impressed by this.
Member Ball?
I think it's a great idea, and so I'm all in favor of it. I noted that 2 of the sign locations are at the Julia Street crossing of Washington, and for the new members, the safety of that particular intersection, I think it's the right intersection, but that's the one with the flashing yellow lights, and some of us continue to see people ignore that, be confused by it. And we brought that up with FDOT, and I just want to keep it in front of us because pedestrian safety is one of the key things in our downtown plan. And so now we're going to have, even more traffic, different parts of the day, perhaps with people that aren't as familiar with the fact that they should, despite the lights, they need to look and see because people are ignoring it. And so that's a concern I wanted to raise again, and I'll probably bring it up. This isn't the meeting to talk about pedestrian safety necessarily, but I did note that the kids or whoever's going to be doing this is going to be crossing that intersection.
Thank you. Member Aker?
Whose idea was this? I think this is fantastic.
This is Megan from Code Enforcement.
Oh my God, that is so creative, so positive. I just wanted to know who was behind it. That's awesome. I'm definitely for this.
Member Moscoso?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it is a great idea. I actually printed it out. I wanted to do it before our meeting because I wanted to walk my kids through it. They're 7 and 11, and just to see the safety aspect as well, what it would be like. Because, I think the idea is to draw families down to downtown. And so I still plan on doing that. But they are so excited. So I just want to congratulate you guys on just the forward thinking and the ideas. So thank you guys.
Member Nelson?
Would you like a motion?
I would.
Move to approve funding not to exceed $300 to install signage for the Train Like an Astronaut program. And a special thanks to Megan. I think she should stand up and wave.
And I will second that motion.
I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Executive Director?
On to 8D, which is Star Party Scavenger Hunt. Code Enforcement has partnered with the American Space Museum to plan a star party on February 22nd, 2025, offering participants with an engaging way to explore the city's rich history and connection with the space industry. As participants venture through the downtown CRA, they will uncover clues and highlights the key moments in space exploration. The scavenger hunt within the CRA is a positive activity generator encouraging exploration and interaction within the city's parks while enhancing community engagement. Code Enforcement has created scavenger hunt workbooks for participants. The book is within your agenda item. Code Enforcement is here to answer any questions that you may have on this other good initiative.
City Clerk, any cards?
No cards.
Thank you. Members?
Is this Megan again?
Member Aker? Member Moscoso?
this might be a way for us to kind of collaborate as a city council. I know a lot of us, the new members, were using social media and maybe use that to get, because I really want families to come down. I think it's just going to be a great opportunity. And I know that more things are going to come out of this, but this might be an opportunity for us to kind of collaborate because we don't have a lot of opportunities because of sunshine to do things like this. So maybe we can put our heads together and figure out how we can kind of encourage the community to come out.
I see Amy's here. She's ready to create a marketing plan for us.
Very vocal on social media about this.
Yes, and I know the American Space Museum is also very excited about this. We've had several conversations over the past week or so about it, so they're excited. Member Aker?
Would this be in conjunction with some other like vendor spaces downtown, or is it just an independent activity?
This is actually, the date was chosen to do it along with Write It Down, the bike event from the chamber. Because if you think about it, it's the same group of people that will be here. They're outdoors, they're out in nature. So there's already going to be hundreds of people here that weekend. So that's why the decision was made to have it at, in the park that evening to capture those people. And just as a note, and I know you all probably know this, but one of the reasons why things like this comes forward, it is CPTED, the crime prevention, with the active users, and code enforcement. So the reason we paid for the signs is because that's what the CRA can pay for. That where this is an event, when it's an event, that's something that we cannot pay for. So we're being very cautious to do the right thing and bring it forward. Appreciate it, Megan.
It's just informational. All righty. Executive Director, anything else from you right now? All right. Petitions and requests from the public?
Okay, would you hand it out, please?
You got one for Sarah? Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. My name is Stan Johnson. I'm a professional engineer, and I've come to you a number of times as an expert witness, and that's what I'm coming to you for right now. And so I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I'm here to tell the truth that leaving the fountains on at Park Ponds when there's sewage in the fountains is a bad thing to do. It's unhealthy. So you've seen this many times, and you haven't seen this sign. So what I'm asking you, and I'm going to read directly from this, it says that based upon information that I'm giving you, it's unhealthy. That I and the Titusville Environmental Commission and 40,000 other professional engineers licensed by the state of Florida who are licensed to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public request the CRA and the city council, city manager too, and water resources, the Titusville Police Department, and all those present at these meetings to join us in the following, and that is to discontinue city's unwritten policy for spraying women, children, babies, so forth with the sewage, as Mrs. Nelson has shared with us on October the 15th and November the 12th of last year, and to fence the ponds with fabric fences or equal to prevent adults and children from having contact with the sewage. Perhaps you have some questions of me. I have a little bit of time left. This is a serious issue, and I'm giving it to you so that you can take a look at it, because there's God's law. God's law says you're not supposed to harm other people, and God's law says you've heard of it. It says universal law says do unto others as you would have done unto you, and you understand is that if I If I'm criticized by my neighbor saying, hey, you know, you're putting sewage on my children, they'll go to the police department. The police will get me arrested. But the thing is, here in the city of Titusville, if I complain to the city, or somebody else complains to the city about the sewage that they're being sprayed on, Titusville Police Department won't do anything. So we got a problem here, big problem. And I'd like you to consider it, because as far as I'm concerned, as a professional engineer, what you're doing it's illegal. It's very illegal what you're doing. And you should be, it's not only illegal, it's a crime. So you're supporting a crime, and you shouldn't be doing that. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Any other petitions and requests?
Jesse.
All right.
Next item is the Executive Director's Report. We have no action items, and the following items are listed in for your information, and if you have any questions, we're here to answer them.
Any cards on this issue, City Clerk?
No cards.
Member Ball?
Yes, I want to follow up just on the FDOT repavement of the southbound lanes of US 1. They came and gave us a little, at our request, a little presentation on just exactly what all was going to be included in that. It turns out that we had questions or concerns related to traffic safety and pedestrian safety, and that particular project is locked in. I mean, we just didn't have an opportunity to influence it anymore, but we have voiced an interest and a concern for this body to be engaged in the scoping of the northbound repaving, which isn't yet scheduled. In addition to that, you'll see, I think it's item 4 on the list, is pedestrian safety. So I know staff is continuing to look into, what maybe we can do with FDOT to improve pedestrian safety, including, I think they've agreed to do a speed study. We haven't had one for 5 years.
That's the request that I have in, and I keep following up with them. So it's still in their pipeline, and I'm waiting to get an answer after the 17th of this month, and I'll bring it back to the board. But Michael Sanders at FDOT is who I'm in contact with on a regular basis.
And again, I'll just mention that the flashing yellow pedestrian crossing just doesn't work. And we've watched too many people start to cross and then realize that the motorist was not going to stop. So it may be out of our control, but it certainly isn't out of our awareness. So I think we need to keep pressing on FDOT about that. They were very clear that if we have a safety issue, they're willing to work with us on that. We shouldn't have to wait until we repave northbound US 1 to address it. And as we did tonight, we're going to get more activity downtown. We already have. So with kids especially, we either need to warn them by a sign that said, don't take it for granted that this means anything. You've got to look, make sure cars aren't going to violate your pedestrian right-of-way, or do something else. Anyway, thank you. Keeping it on your report.
I know we're limited in what we can do on FDOT's highway, and I know we're looking at installing traffic cams on our own school zones, but is there anything we can do from a jurisdictional standpoint to enforce that? Because it is state law, if those lights are flashing, that they have to stop, correct? Yeah, is there anything we can do, or you guys can look into to see what we can do to incentivize that?
That I don't know. Staff would have to research and get
Thank
back
you.
with you.
I appreciate it. Member Cole?
No, my question, along the same lines as the mayor said, do you think red light cameras would work in that position if people thought that they were going to be, ticketed because they ran through that caution when someone was in it?
So that's not a red light, and FDOT won't put red light flashing lights.
But can we?
It's their road. Yeah, okay.
I think what Member Cole was getting at was the threat of a red light camera,
Yeah.
not necessarily a red light camera. You know, a sign that says if you cross this while it's flashing, you're going to get a ticket to, you know, hopefully encourage some voluntary adhesion to the rule. Member Aker.
I thought when the FDOT representative was here, they said on the new installs, we're going to have red lights.
Not the yellow flashing ones. No, they're not changing that.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood, because I thought she said the new iterations.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it was? Is somebody that's in my office that worked for FDOT that said that. That the new iterations,
Yeah.
we're going to have red lenses.
Bring that person here to
Yeah, I need to find them, if I remember them.
Member Nelson.
Could we at least look at maybe putting some additional signage? Can we get away with that?
Yeah, again, it's their road. I think they have at least 4 or 5 pre-signs leading into those. I'm not sure they're going to put any more signs in there,
I
but
was
we can
thinking-
ask.
Ask that, and then maybe Jones Wright put signs out that say, hey, please be cautious going across the street.
Well-
To sort of warn the pedestrians to pay attention. I don't know.
Staff is going to work on advisability of what we can and cannot do and bring it back. Also, Member Cole in this meeting, but Vice Mayor Cole and I are the Titusville representatives to the Transportation Planning Organization, and I most recently am on their executive committee. So this is something that I hear in terms of concerns that need to be addressed, and I'm one of those people with a dog with the bone, and I'm not going to stop until we get what we need. So just send those things that we need to me via email, and at our next meeting, I'll make sure I bring them up. Member Stokel?
Yeah, I think, I want to say this is prior to some of the new members getting on. When we had a presentation by them, I think we kept going back and forth. They were putting up signs that just said, like, this is a walkway, and then maybe putting the white lines on the road. We weren't even getting any flashing, anything. And I think at that point, if I remember, they said it's kind of too late at this point to change anything. We expressed our concerns, I think, very frank with them, and they said in the future that they would be willing to collaborate. That being said, I think that we need to be a little bit more proactive on that. My fear is that we will not potentially find out again until it's too late. So anything as we kind of investigate within our circles and the different boards that we sit on, I think they were definitely open to it. I think it was just at that point, the design had already been done. It was already too late in the game for them, but they seemed open to seeking our opinion. I just, the process to me is a little weird because I don't like, it would have been nice to have heard from you before you made these decisions. So as we're doing each of our own like things, since we can't speak, that would be my suggestion if we can try to figure that out prior.
Yeah, their goal list is 2050. So the list is a mile long out to 2050. So if it's not in that pipeline, it's not going to happen. Member Ball.
Yeah, just one last thing. Since you are on this Space Coast Transportation Organization, there are solutions that are being employed in other communities. And for example, I'm really aware of the ones that are happening on the beach side, because the beach communities say, you know, people can't get across to A1A for fear of their life. You know, they're on the west side and they want to go to the beach. So that they have employed red light, stop, you know, different, I don't know all of the techniques that have been used, but it just seems we ought to be able to figure this out. So be aware that there are solutions being insisted on by other communities, and FDOT is finding a way to address them.
Absolutely. All righty. I believe that takes us to the end of the meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, we're adjourned.
That begs the question, could the madness